Hi everyone, welcome to the class. I'm Wangal Gising, and today in this video we will work through 15 interesting and important questions specially designed for CBSE Class 10 Standard Maths. Each question is solved step by step to help you think clearly and strengthen your concepts. So if you're serious about improving your maths, you're in the right place. So let's do it. Alright, here comes our first question. And before we start solving, one thing I would like to tell you is that some of the questions you may find it easy, while some a little more difficult or challenging. The the purpose is to understand them. It may not come in the MCQ type questions, the challenging ones, but you may see them in the 2 marks section or 3 marks section in your question paper. In maths, even if the positive plus sign is changed by a negative sign, the entire question changes. So please don't expect the same type of questions, but the type remains the same, the pattern remains the same. So keeping that in mind, let's start solving. And I also suggest you to stay till the end so that you know all the different types of questions that you may encounter in your exam, and the different types of questions from different chapters. So let's start solving these questions. So we have a pair of linear equations. One is this, another is this, and they don't have a solution, right? So we'll have to find this k. So if they don't have a solution, then this must hold, right? So a1 is the coefficient of x1. If you say this is equation 1 and this equation 2, then a1 is the coefficient of x1, nobody's mean 1. a1, b1, c1, a2, b2 and c2, right? So a1 is 1, a2 is 4, b1 is 3 and b2 is k. So if you cross multiply, the answer is 12. So this is how we solve this question. Let's move on to another one. Here it is, our second question. It says the ratio in which the y-axis divides the line segment joining the points 5, -6 and -1, -5 is one of these options. So let us solve this question. Draw a line segment joining the points -1, -4 and 5, -6. Let's say this A and this B, and the ratio in which the y-axis divides the line. So let's say this is the y-axis and it divides the line in the ratio m:n. The point where it divides, it lies on the y-axis, and any point lying on the y-axis, this is our y-axis, any point lying on the y-axis is given by the coordinate 0, y. So consider this is your x1, y1, x2, y2, and say this is your xy. Okay, so we'll have to find the ratio m:n. So we will use this one. Because we know x, x2 and x1. X is this value, which is 0. M, we don't know, mx2. So m into -1. So it is minus m2 minus m. So n x1. N into x1 is 5. So divided by m plus n. So next is, if you bring this m plus n on the left hand side and multiply with 0, it's 0. So from here, the answer is going to be m upon n equals to 5 upon 1, or we may say m is to n equals to 5 is to 1. So this is our answer. Okay, let's solve question number 3. It says, in tossing 3 coins, the probability of getting at most 2 heads is, let's find the answer. So how many elements do we get in the sample space if we toss 3 coins? It's given by 2 to the power n. The formula is 2 to the power n. Here n is 3. So it is, we must have 8 elements in the sample space. 2 means for each uh, event of tossing a coin, you'll get 2 outcomes. So here we are tossing 3 coins, so that's why it's 2 to the power 3, and answer is 8. If we were rolling a die, then you know the outcomes are, there are 6 outcomes. So it will be, if you are rolling 2 dice, then it will be 6 to the power 2. If it is 1, then it's 6 to the power 1, right? So in this case, we must have 8 outcomes. So how do we find the outcomes? So it's given by, but this is a trick which it would be better if you remember, and it's quite easy also and interesting. Look here. It's given by, first write this. Look here. Head, head, tail, tail, head, head, tail, tail. Next write head, tail, head, tail, right? Alternatively write head, tail, like that. And last, write 4 heads and 4 tail. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are your 8 outcomes. Okay. So the question says, in tossing 3 coins, the probability of getting at most 2 heads. At most means at the max you must get 2 heads when you're tossing 3 coins, or even if there is no head, it's fine. But at the max it should be 2 heads. So 3 heads, no. Here we have 2 heads. 2 heads, 1 heads, it's okay. 2 heads, 1, 1. Here there is no head, it's okay, because it says at the most. Okay, it's like during the exam, if they ask you at the most you can bring 1 pencil. What does that mean? It means that you need not bring also. Even if you don't bring, it's not a problem, but if you bring, the maximum you should have is 1 pencil. That's what it say. That's what it means. So the probable favorable outcomes are 8 out of 9. So probability is given by, sorry, 7 out of 8. This is our answer. I hope you understood. So let's move on to another question. All right, let us solve this question number 4 from the chapter circles. Okay. Let's give, as you can see in the figure, this entire angle TPQ is 110 degree. You'll have to find POQ. So POQ. So you'll have to find this angle. So how do we do it? OP is the radius. So, and this radius is always perpendicular to the tangent, right? So this angle is 90 degree, right? This is 90, entire is 110. So what is the angle? So this is 20 degree. Means angle OPQ must be 20 degree. This is 90, this is 20. If this is 20, this one will also be 20, because OP and OQ are radius of the circle. O is the center, right? So radius means they are equal. So this is an isosceles triangle. So this is 20, this is 20, and sum of the angles in a triangle is 180. So what will be the angle here? This one is 140 degree. So 140 plus 20 plus 20, it's 180. So this is 140 degree. Let's do another one. Okay, now question number 5 is from LCM. It says that A is a product of 2 square into 3 to the power x, B is equal to 2 square into 3 into 5, and C equals to 2 square into 3 into 7. And LCM of A, B, and C is 3780. Then what is the value of this x? All right. You know what is the LCM of two or more than two numbers? It is the product of the greatest powers, of each prime factor involved in the numbers. So, how many prime factors are there? One is 2, 3, 5, and 7, right? So, their product with the highest power. So, 2's highest power is 2, and 3's highest power, this is 1, this is 1. So, we'll consider x is the highest power. Well, 5's highest power is 1, and 7's highest power is also 1. So, this is the LCM of A, B, and C. Product of the greatest powers of each prime factors involved in the numbers. So, this is given as 3780. Now, we may write this as, this 2 square is 4. If we bring it here, 4 into 5 into 7 equals to 3 to the power x. I may write like this. Now, you may start solving, right? So, this is 4 5s are 20. So, if you divide this by, let's start with 5 only. Don't panic, because hurry spoils the curry. 5 7 are 35. 5 5 are 25. 5 6 are 30. So, you may divide this by 7. So 7 into 108 is 756, and 4, if you divide this, it is 27. So 27 equals to 3 to the power x, which means 27 can be written as 3 to the power 3. There's a law of, in the law of indices, it says that if the bases are equal, bases are same, powers are equal. That means x equals to 3. So this is our correct answer. Okay, now we'll do question number 6. So we have question number 6 from trigonometry. It says, given that sine A equals to root 3 by 2 and cos B equals to root 3 by 2, what is the value of A plus B? Okay, any guesses? So what we'll do is, sine A equals to root 3 by 2, right? So root 3 by 2, isn't it, it's sine 60 degree? Because sine 60 degree is root 3 by 2. Okay, now you got the value for cos also, right? So cos B equals to root 3 by 2. If I write this in terms of cos, then it is cos 30 degree. So sine and sine gets cancelled. So A equals to 60 degree, and cos and cos will get cancelled, and B equals to 30 degree. So A plus B equals to 90 degree. So this is our correct answer. Simple as that. This. Okay. Question number 7. It says, how many two-digit numbers are divisible by 3? So, tell me the first two-digit number which is divisible by 3. It's 12. The second two-digit number is 15. Likewise, the third is 18, and so it goes on. What is the last two-digit number which is divisible by 3? It is none other than 99, right? So after this, you have a three-digit number. So these digits, they form an AP, arithmetic progression, right? Where the first term, A1, is 12, your common difference is 3, and the last term is 99. So all these terms are divisible by 3. That's what it's saying, like how many two-digit numbers are divisible by 3. So the finding the formula for the last term or any term is, let's say the last term is given by A plus n minus 1 into D, isn't it? So L is your 99, A is your 12 plus, you don't know n, D is 3. So how much is 99 minus 12? It's 87. So 87 equals to, next we divide 87 by 3, and the answer is 29 equals to n minus 1. So by now you must have guessed the answer. So n is how much? N is 30. If you send this one here, it's 29 plus 1. So there are 30 terms, 32 two-digit numbers which are divisible by 3. It can be some other numbers, like they may say by 4 or 5 or 6. So this is the method. Okay. Okay, question number 8 is from the chapter polynomials. It says the graph of a polynomial px passes through the points. There are 4 points. The zeros of the polynomial are. The shortcut is, look at the points and check the coordinates in which the ordinate is 0, means the y part is 0. This one, y part is 0, y part is 0. So the answer is minus 6 comma minus 6 and 6, or 6 comma minus 6. So this is the correct answer. Or else, what you can do is you can plot a graph, a rough graph. Let's say plot these points. Minus 6 comma 0, it must be somewhere here. For example, let's say this is your minus 6 comma 0, and 0 comma minus 30. 0 comma minus 30 is somewhere here. 0 comma minus 30. Okay, so rough sketch. And 4 comma minus 20. Okay, x is 4 and y is minus 20, somewhere here. Let's say this is your 4 comma minus 20, this point, and last is 6 comma 0. So x is 6 comma 0 somewhere here. So this are 6 comma 0. Now let us connect the points. Okay, so the point line is something like this. It passes through this point. So it's a quadratic polynomial. It's a U-shaped graph. So the zeros are where the graph touches the x-axis. So one is at -6, another is at 6, right? So -6 comma 0 and 6 comma 0. So the zeros are -6 and 6. This is how we can get the answer through the diagram or directly from the understanding that wherever your ordinate is 0, means y part is 0, then this and this must be the zeros of the polynomial. Okay. Okay, this question number 9 is from similarity of triangles. As you can see the figure, in the figure you see a triangle ABP and the points DE and C. They've given DE is parallel to AC. So this line is parallel to this line and CD is parallel to AP. Okay, CD is parallel to AP. All right. Find the value of BE upon EC. BE upon EC. Also another thing is given that BC is 4 centimeter and CP is 2 centimeter. So out of these three options, one of them is correct. Okay. So this will take a little bit more time. So you know the idea of basic proportionality theorem, right? What does it say? It says that if a line, let's say DE is parallel to the side BC, if a line is parallel to one of the sides of a triangle and it intersects at distinct points, then the two sides are in proportion. Means AD by DB equals to AE upon EC. Means the line will divide the two sides in proportion, right? So using this idea, we will solve the question. Now let's break this triangle in this way. A, B, C, D and P, right? Now since these two are parallel, so I can write BC upon CP equals to BD upon DA or AD, right? Let's say this is 1. BC upon CP equals to BA upon AD. Now let's consider another triangle. So you can correlate the points and the figure, right? So here this line is parallel to this side, so I can write BE upon EC equals to BD upon DA, right? Now from 1 and 2, what do you see? So from 1 and 2 I can write that BE upon EC equals to BC upon CP, right? So we know BC is how much? It's 4 and CP is 2. So it is 2 upon 1, which is 2:1. So this is the answer. So this is how we break the figures and get the solution. So this question might come for 2 marks or 3 marks as well, but sometimes they may give as MCQ questions, right? So we have a question from arithmetic progression. It's question number 10. The sum of first n terms of an AP is given by Sn equals to 2n square plus 3n. The common difference of the AP is one of these. So how do you find? It's going to be a little lengthy question, okay, but the solution is going to be a little long, but there's a beautiful understanding. Okay, sum is given by the sum of n terms from start till the nth term is given by this. So if there are 10 terms, then you'll find S10 and put the value of n as 10, so you get the answer. So let me find the sum of first term. Okay, so S1 is wherever there is n, put 1. So it's going to be, so it is how much? 2 plus 3, it is 5. So sum of first term, isn't it, it's equal to the first term itself. It's A1. So S1 is equal to A1, right? Let's find the sum of two terms. So this is 2 to the 4, so 2 4 is 8, plus 3 2 is 6, it is 8 plus 6 is 14. The sum of two terms, first and the second term, is 14. So that means, isn't it like S2 is equals to A1 plus A2? So you know A1, S2 is 14, you know A1 is 5, so A2, how much is A2? So 14 minus 5, it's 9. So you know the second term, you know the first term, right? So the common difference is second term minus the first term, so it is 4. So D is, A2 minus A1, it is 9 minus 5, it's 4. So the answer is 4. Alright, this was a great question. Let's move on to question number 11. So here comes our question number 11 from probability. It says a die is rolled twice. The probability that 5 will not come either time is one of these. So I hope you know what is a die. Think of like a Ludo, right? So instead of the dots, you think of each face with numbers from 1 to 6. Like each face has numbers from 1 to 6. So when you roll it, you have 6 outcomes. So they are saying that in the first try, there should not be 5. And in the second time also, when you throw it, 5 should not come up, right? So what is the probability of that thing to happen? The probability that 5 will not come either time means by rolling it twice. So, when you roll 2 dice, right, you have how many outcomes? 36 outcomes, right? How? One die has 6 outcomes. Here we are rolling 2 dice. So I had told you in the beginning that number of outcomes is given by this formula. So 6 to the power n, it has 2 dice. So it is 36. You must have 36 outcomes. So out of that 36 outcomes, what are the favorable outcomes for this one? So when will you see 5? One is like 5 will come up, and on the other die, the second die, 1 will show. Next, let's say 5 is coming up and in the other 2 is showing up. 5 is coming, 3 is showing up, 5, 4. You can have both 5 also, right? First one 5, second one also 5. You can have 5 and 6, right? And you can have 1 first. In the first row it's showing 1, in the second row it's showing 5. Similarly, like this. So you cannot write 5, 5 because it's already gone. So remember that these two are different. Okay, this means in the first row 5 is showing up, in the second 1 is showing up. This means in the first row 1 is showing up, in the second row 5 is showing up. So look at the count, like count the number of favorable outcomes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So there are 11 favorable outcomes, means 11 times when you throw 2 dice, 5 will show up either in the first time or in the second time or in both the times, right? But you don't want 5 to come. So probability that 5 will not come either time is, it will come is 11 out of 36, right? But it will not come, this is the answer we are looking for, by the way. It will not come is, what is the complement of this? Means 11 out of 36 is happening, that means 25 out of 36 is not happening. How did you get this? Subtract this from 1. Okay, so 1 minus 11 upon 36 is, so I hope you got the answer. So this means at least in one of the times 5 will come. This means 5 won't come. So the answer is 25 out of 36. So if you're confused with the solution, it's like this. There's a formula. Probability of E plus probability of E bar equals to 1. E, let's say E is the event of um, getting 5. Okay, when you roll 2 dice, you are getting 5 once or twice, both the times. And let's say E bar is the event of not getting 5. Not getting 5. So then probability of getting 5 was 11 out of, total is 36. This we don't know. If you solve this equation, it is 25 out of 36. 1 minus this is 25 out of 36. Probability of not getting 5 when you roll 2 dice, right? So using this, I got the answer. Otherwise, you may also think, just looking at the equation, the answer, this its complement is 25 out of 36, because 11 plus 25 is 36 only. So that way also you can think. Otherwise, this is the formula which they have used. So let's move on to another question. Okay, so question number 12 is about LCM and HCF. It says the LCM of two numbers is 2400. Which of the following cannot be their HCF? 300, 400, 500, and 600. So we don't know the two numbers, but their LCM is 2400. So which of these cannot be their HCF, means highest common factor? The answer is 500. Remember the rule. It says that HCF must be HCF must divide LCM. Means HCF divides LCM exactly. leaving no remainder. So that is the rule. Okay, 300 divides 2400, 400 divides 2400, and 600 also divides 2400. So 500 is the only one which does not divide 2400 exactly. That is why the answer is 500. So if you see this kind of question, so know this idea and answer the question. Okay, so let's move on to another question. All right, this question from trigonometry is, I would say, quite an irritating question. Okay, because the solution doesn't come at once, and there is a use of a known identity, and even after using that identity we'll have to do something else, something more, like sec theta plus tan theta equals to p, then tan theta equals to, although in trigonometry there are so many ways you can derive the answer, but I suggest but I would go this way. Okay, so we know this sec square theta minus tan square theta equals to 1. So this is something like a square minus b square equals to 1. So what will you do? A plus b into a minus b equals to 1. You know, this is p, right? This one. So if you send to the other side is going to divide 1. So I'm directly going to write the result, that is sec theta minus tan theta equals to 1 over p. It's like 1 over this, so that means p, right? So let's say this is equation 1 and this is equation 2. Now let's solve these two equations. Okay, so I'm writing this right below this one. So it's like a linear equation in two variables. First one is sec theta, another one is tan theta. So if I directly add them, then my tan is going to get cancelled, which I don't want, because tan is something I wanted. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this second equation by minus 1. So this will be minus, this will also be minus, and this is going to be minus. So my answer is that plus. Now after doing this, if I add them, plus minus cancels, minus minus, I'm going to get minus 2 tan theta equals to 1 by p minus p, right? So if I multiply with, if I try to make it positive, it's like this. If I multiply both sides with minus 1, it's 2 tan theta equals to p minus 1 by p. You all agree this? Yes. Next, we are almost there. I'm writing it here. Uh, if you take the LCM, it's p square minus 1 upon p, and you take this 2 to the other side. So this is our answer. Okay. So instead of sec and tan, you can see some other thing like, let's say, cosec plus cot. Similar formula, similar method, you solve the questions. Instead of this, you can see cos and sine. Cos plus sine equals to k. Find cos theta or sine theta. So you'll use the same method and get the answer. All right. All right, let us solve this question. It says, if the minute hand of a clock is 14 centimeter long, then the area swept by the minute hand between 8 p.m. and 8:10 p.m. is, this. Okay, we'll have to find. So it's a question from um, area of sector of a circle. Okay, consider a clock. Okay, I think this is 8 p.m., right? It's 10, suppose. So this is your minute hand, this is your hour hand. Okay, so if the minute hand passes 10 minutes, then it is going to reach here, right? So when it passes 10 minutes, the area it covers, the sector of the circle, right? So how much area does it cover? This is what we'll have to find. So in order to find this, we'll have to we should know the angle it makes when it travels from here till here. So how do you find the angle? Is that 60 minutes in this clock is one rotation, right, by the minute hand, and one rotation is equal to 360 degrees. So 1 minute, first find 1 minute. So it's going to be using a unitary method. So 1 minute equals to 6 degrees. Therefore, 10 minutes is, if you know 1 minute's value, 10 minutes is just multiplied by 10, it is 60 degrees. So this angle is 60 degree, right? Now we'll find the area. So area is given by the formula. It's this angle upon 360 into pi r square. So 22 by 7 into r square is your radius square. Now the radius is this, the length of the minute hand. We'll have to consider that as the radius, which is 14 centimeter. It is 14 square 1 by 6. So you need to be patient here, okay, because usually in this kind of problem you'll have to simplify and cancel and multiply, divide. Okay, so next is what we do. So 2 ones are 2 threes are. We have 22 into 14 upon 3. So 22 upon 14, let's multiply. It's 308. 308 upon 3 centimeter square. So you can find its answer in decimal. If it was if it was a multiple choice question, then you'll have to see the options. If the options have 3 as the denominator, then you may check here only. But if the answer is in decimal, then you'll have to divide and get the answer. So let's round it off in the decimal numbers. So it's 3 ones are 0, 3 twos are 6, left point, and 2, 3 twos are 6, and goes on, right? So something like approximately it's 102.66 centimeters square. So this is how we solve the question. All right, let's move on to the last question. Okay, this is a final question, and let's do it by grace. Okay, with grace. It says the ratio of the length of a vertical rod to its shadow is 1 is to root 3. Find the angle of elevation of the sun at that moment. So it's like, okay, you have a vertical rod. Obviously, the rod is standing on a ground. Like vertical means let's make 90 degree. Say its shadow is this. Like this is the shadow, and angle of elevation is this. Okay, theta is the angle of elevation. So you might be wondering why here angle of elevation of the sun. So you can see the sun from here only, right? Because till here it's shadow. If you come forward and look at the sun, you're not going to see. So after this point, you will be able to see, but this is the main point. So they have said, if this is theta, the side opposite to theta is perpendicular, and the side adjacent to theta is base, while this is hypotenuse. Okay, what does it say? The ratio of the length of the vertical rod, length is the, here length means perpendicular, to its shadow. This is the shadow, right? If the sun is somewhere here, right? This is your shadow. This breadth is 1 is to 3. So this can be written as P by B, P by B equals to 1 upon root 3, right? So you'll have to find the angle. So which trigonometric ratio relates with perpendicular and base? Or which trigonometric ratio is the ratio of the perpendicular to the base of a right angle triangle? It is tan theta. Turn permanently black. Some people have curly brown hair turn permanently black. So if you are amused to hear this, please go through my shorts. You will see there how to derive the basic trigonometric ratios. So this is 1 by 3. So tan theta is 1 by 3, right? So when is this, when do we get tan of theta is 1 by 3 is when theta is 30 degree. Tan 30 degree is 1 by root 3. So tan gets cancelled, or let's say they get removed. So ultimately your theta is 30 degree. This is the angle of elevation. All right, here comes the end. Okay. So thank you for staying till here, and I hope you understood, you learned a lot, and keep practicing. We'll meet again in the next video.